Hey, what's up? It's Jake, and we're going to be going over upgrading Packer JSON template to HCL2. So, as of version 1.7.0, HCL2 is the preferred way to write Packer templates. You can use the HCL2 upgrade command to transition your existing Packer JSON template to HCL2. This enables you to preserve your existing workflows while leveraging HCL2's advanced features like variable interpolation and configuration composability. So what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade a Packer JSON template that builds a Docker image to HCL2 and then add provisioners and post processors to upgrade the HCL2 template. I'm assuming you already understand the standard Packer workflow. And if you're new, you can check out any of the other videos that I created. They go pretty quick and it doesn't take much to learn it. But you will need the Packer CLI installed locally on your machine and Docker. So let's go ahead and open up some code here. And we're going to download a repo. This is the Learn Packer Upgrade JSON Config Get repo hosted by HashiCorp. And let's go ahead and go in here and see what we have. Not much. We got a Docker Ubuntu JSON file and a README. Okay, so let's check out this JSON file. So if you are using this JSON style stuff, then this is for you. This is a standard Packer JSON template. It has a variable, a builder, a provisioner, and it runs Ubuntu Xenial. Okay, a Docker container prints hello world and saves the container to a Docker image. Pretty simple. So you can use the HCL2 underscore upgrade command to upgrade JSON to HCL2. The flag with annotations provides context for the auto-generated template. So let's see what that looks like. So if you go Packer HCL2 underscore upgrade, flag with annotations, and then we'll do docker ubuntu.json. Successfully created Docker Ubuntu JSON Packer HCL. Cool. So let's check this out. So this is a new file that was created. And there's a whole bunch of garbage in here for us to read through because it was auto-generated. But essentially, let's take out the comments so we can just look and see what this actually does. Okay, and this should look like some standard HCL if you've ever worked with HCL. So we have three blocks. We've got a block that defines our image variable. We've got one for the builder packer, which can be used to build an image, and then our build block to define what packer will execute when you run packer build. So the build block is similar to the full JSON build template file with the variables and source, block defining values, and builders packer will use for your images. And you can reference the variables and source across multiple HCL2 files, or builds. If you have questions about block reuse, there's a site for it here on block reuse. So I'll put this in the description of this video so you can check it out. All right, so to update our generated template, the HCL2 command automatically maps and generates relevant HCL2 block. You should rename these blocks accurately to represent and describe the resource. So auto-generated one, auto-generated one. We might want to change that to something else. So maybe for this one, I'm just going to call it Ubuntu. And then this dot value, I'm just going to call this Ubuntu. And I'm going to save it. In addition, since this Packer template uses Docker version 0.0.7 plugin, look here. I don't see anything yet. We're going to add the following Packer block to the top of our Docker Ubuntu Packer file. Now, it'll look like this because we need to find our plugin. That just makes sure that Packer will retrieve the Docker plugin that fulfills like whatever the version constraint you have, so you can consistently generate an image from this template. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and save this, and we'll initialize with Packer init, and then we can run Packer build. All right, so while that runs, you can also specify images by specifying the template file directly. I did not do that. I just used the the dot here directory pointer, but feel free to type that out too. That's totally fine. Just know if you do use external variables, if you use dot, it's going to read all the files in the directory and package those up, because external variable files do have precedence over any declared environment variable or anything like that. The only thing that doesn't is a like an inline command. Okay, so now we can check out our Docker images and see here that I have, well, it's hard to see. My SHA has two F9D. You can see here 2F9D right there. So it is there. It's this one right here. So now that we built an image using the HCL2 template, we can add a provisioner and post-processor. So first, let's check about adding the provisioner, and we're going to put that in the build block after the existing provisioner. So there's our first provisioner, there's our second provisioner. I absolutely abhor the way this thing formats. Okay, there we go. That looks better. And you can always just run like a Packer format and it'll fix it, but it won't fix the bottom problem that I just fixed. So it's good, but it's not the best. Anyway, so this will define our shell provisioner. We already have one for inline, but we're going to set an environment variable, foo equals hello world, and then do echo foo is hello world into an example.txt file. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add a post processor, and we're going to put this in the build block after our provisioner right here. And I'm going to take this and move it over. There we go. And this post processor is just going to do a tag. So it gives a repository and a tag, and then we should be good to go after that. Let's see. Then we're going to do, after we tag our image with Ubuntu Xenial, we're going to add, I don't think we're going to add anything. Let's go ahead and build. So I'm going to do, here we'll do a couple extra commands so you can see it, because I haven't been doing them lately. Let's do a Packer format. Okay, and then let's do a Packer validate our config, and then we'll run a Packer build. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and create this with a tag, which will make it a lot easier to find. In the output, we should find, like we were saying, adding file to Docker container that confirms Packer ran the second provisioner block, and then we can just do a Docker images to look at everything, or even just type in the learn Packer repository to find this like individual like Docker repository. So we can go ahead and check this out. I'll show you the difference as soon as this is done building. So if we run Docker images, you get a whole list of stuff, right? But you'll notice that there's different repositories. So one way that you can do that is you can actually pass the repository name, and it will just return the images in that repository. So if you're not familiar with that little trick, you're welcome. We want to verify it created this example.txt file in the new image. So first we're going to launch the newly created Docker image and just do an IT. So we'll do Docker run IT and then our image ID for our learn Packer Ubuntu Xenial guy. Sweet. and we're in. So in here, we should be able to cat example. Oh, I did not like that. Example.text, and foo is hello world is what we're expecting. I can go out of there. And that's pretty much it. So you can see we converted it. We had to rename a couple things. I added some provisioners and things like that, so you can just see that it's still working. But anyways, if you are currently using JSON and you want to upgrade your JSON files to HCL2, that is the process. I hope it helped you. And this is the end of my Packer tutorial playlist. So congratulations, you know enough to go either save the day or break everything. So if you have questions, let me know. And if not, then I'll see you in the next one.